In my headcanon, within the sewers of the New York City, of the Marvel Universe, where a giant lizard man creeps in the dark, and a Spider-Man is crawling on filthy septic pipes in hot pursuit of just such a rogue reptilian mutate, dwells 4 other reptilian mutates. And I'm convinced that the only reason why we haven't seen any of them in any of Marvel's official publications, films, cartoons, video games, or toy lines is because they're ninjas, and they're just that good at what they do. My headcanon aside, I'm astounded that it will be hitting close to 40 years of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles existing as a mainstream property that has seen a longevity that could never have been guessed given its very indie origins. Close to 40 years since this obscure indie comic created as a parody of a Marvel hero's origin story, and close to 40 years that has seen both Marvel and the Turtles crossover with numerous other franchises, yet nearly 40 years, and we've not had one official crossover of these two major mainstream properties. I mean, Marvel has had symbiote suit Spidey spinning webs around the robots in disguise in the original Transformers comics. Wolverine has gone head-to-head with the Predator. The Evil Dead has haunted the world of the Marvel Zombies. The Avengers have assembled to fight Godzilla. The X-Men and Avengers battled with the Capcom universe in the arcades of the late 90s, and even had the poster big bad of the era, Onslaught, as the end boss. Naturally, Disney's acquisition of Marvel would result in mash-up projects. And of course, Marvel has had numerous crossovers with its comic book arch-nemesis, DC, including a crossover project where the characters of both universes were literally crossed over, like Dragon Ball Z fusion-style kinda crossovers that resulted in amalgamated hybrid characters. Meanwhile, the Ninja Turtles have turtle-powered their way into the universe of the Power Rangers. They have spooked the likes of the Ghostbusters. They've ran alongside Sonic the Hedgehog. They've kicked their way into Gotham and teamed up with Batman. They've appeared in the Injustice game universe, where they've pitted their skills against DC characters and other non-DC recruits, like Hellboy and Mortal Kombat combatants. And like Marvel, they've gone versus with the Street Fighter verse. They've even had their pizza hijacked by Garfield. Holy cheese, the Turtles have even partied with the Archie kids. And even though it's pretty dope that there was a Cobra Kai vs. TMNT action figure set, where the shell is the Turtles vs. Daredevil action figure set? Man, it seems that the Turtles have collided with every major mainstream property out there, except, maybe, like, the Barbieverse and Marvel.
That, so we loved all those things, but it's this is our universe, and we populated with things that we enjoyed, and that was ours, and so
the Turtles were conceived as a kind of in-joke tribute by the TMNT creators, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, to many of the things in the comic landscape of the 80s that captured their imagination. The likes of the Teen Titans and the New Mutants inspired the idea of Teenage Turtles. The mutants of the X-Men inspired the idea of Mutant Turtles. The ninjas that lurked within the pages of Frank Miller's Daredevil inspired the Ninja Turtles. And the wacky anthropomorphic cartoon animals like Howard the Duck inspired the idea of, well, turtles? I guess. Anyway, of all those influential elements that were mixed and mutated by Eastman and Laird into an entirely new animal that is the Ninja Turtle, it was the Daredevil fingerprints that most left clues of a connection that ties the Turtles to the Marvel Universe in a way that no other official crossover comes close to. The unofficial tale that is official in my headcanon of the interconnected origin story of the man without fear and the heroes in a half shell goes like this. Once upon a time, A young boy named Matt Murdock is strolling through town.
Mister, can I give
He
you a
suddenly
hand?
notices an old blind man attempting to cross the street, unaware that a speeding truck is heading in his direction. The boy dashes to the man's rescue and manages to nudge him out of harm's way, narrowly evading a collision. But in his efforts to do so, he is accidentally hit by a canister filled with a mysterious substance that spills into his eyes. The substance will blind the boy permanently, but somehow bestow him with a superhuman capacity in all his other senses. The cursed blessing would turn the impaired young boy into the man without fear. The hero of Hell's Kitchen. Daredevil. But unbeknownst to young Murdock, the canisters containing the mysterious substance bounced onto the street and catapulted into the pages of issue number 1 of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where it would proceed to hit and shatter a young boy's fishbowl that was filled with his pet baby turtles. The little green fellas would fall into the sewers, and so too would the mysterious substance that spilled from the exposed canister. A rat was in the sewers in which they landed, and in his efforts to check on them, he along with the 4 little guys were contaminated by the strange liquid. And like Daredevil, exposure to the substances that fell from the canisters from that truck resulted in some extraordinary effects, mutating the creatures into enlarged, bipedal, intelligent creatures, capable of speech, cognitive abilities, and athletic prowess. And perhaps it bestowed them with the capacity for a totally bodacious sense of humor. The turtles would come to know the substance as the ooze. Its origins can be traced to an interdimensional alien race known as the Utrum. The substance is said to be a resource from their homeworld, a place called Dimension X, and they attempted to exploit the substance for the purposes of producing a kind of biological enhancement for the purposes of weaponization. But the chemical mutagen that altered the turtles is said to be the results of experiments or exploits of either the mad scientist, Dr. Baxter Stockman, the head of the Foot Clan, Shredder, or the Utrum, Krang. The 3 classic enemies of the turtles. But this so-called ooze could also be one of many failed attempts to reproduce the super soldier serum. The same serum that enhanced Captain America, by a top-secret organization known as Weapons Plus. A program intended to produce enhanced individuals that can be harnessed and deployed as superpowered living weapons. Such a dangerous experimental program is directly responsible for Wolverine's adamantium exoskeleton and Deadpool's healing factor. The canisters that contaminated the Turtles and Daredevil is rumored to be assets that were either being shipped or disposed of by the Weapons Plus program for reasons that are classified. It is interesting to note that amongst the numerous phases of the program, the Weapons 2, 3, and 4 installments were said to have been performed on animal subjects. Weapons 2 resulted in this anthropomorphic squirrel Wolverine. Perhaps the Weapons Plus program had interacted with the likes of Dr. Stockman, the Shredder, or the Utrums themselves. After all, both shared a similar agenda of producing living weapons. Perhaps the canister of ooze that fell into the sewers was a trial formula made under a top-secret collaboration between these various malign factions? Well, in this unofficial lore, that is official in my headcanon. This sinister collaboration ended up resulting in a rat that would go on to become the wise and honorable Master Splinter. And 4 turtles that would become Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo. Together they would develop into a most unlikely band of superheroes who, like Daredevil, would successfully defend the world from ninja assassins, killer robots, beastly monsters, evil aliens, and many other weird-ass threats.
We sneak inside the ship.
That sounds like a great idea!
Not this guy again.
That's right, you freak!
And given how awesome the turtles turned out, whoever gave the order to ship or dispose of those canisters of supposed super soldier ooze, or whatever it was, should have probably held on to the batch for a while, and maybe do more tests on animals or something. I'm just kidding. I don't mean that. I do not support cruelty to animals even for the purposes of producing a superhero. As this Screen Rant article revealed, there are several tributary threads, purposefully and stealthily woven by Eastman and Laird, to tie the Turtles to Daredevil's universe with marvelous irony. The choice to have the Turtles from the original comic sport red-colored masks is a homage to Daredevil's iconic velvet outfit. The traditional TMNT enemies in the criminal ninja clan, known as the Foot, mirror Daredevil's own adversaries in the Hand. The Turtles' master, Sensei Splinter, is a nod to Daredevil's own martial arts mentor, Stick. It's almost as if Eastman and Laird are dropping a cheeky hint that the Turtles are a splintered universe from the Daredevil branch of the Marvel Universe. It definitely is in my headcanon, anyway.
Kicking us back. Does anybody have any idea about who or what this is? Awesome! Righteous! Bossa Nova!
The thing is, this headcanon of mine could have been a reality had history played a little differently. As Eastman and Laird revealed in their interview on the Cartoonist KAYFABE podcast, that they came pretty close to having Marvel host their indie project. But they denied the proposal upon reviewing the contract.
As it was written, we would have had to have an editor overseeing our work. We would get paid about half what we were making for the comic books that we're publishing. And we would have to have given up 50% of the licensing revenue that the property could generate. And we looked it over and thought about it for a while and then realized, no way, let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Yep, no, that's exactly right. It was one of those, because, look, Pete.
And despite my headcanon, I'm real glad Eastman and Laird kept doing it the way they were doing it. Because not only did their decision save these two amazing creatives from the potential creator rights issues that plagued many Marvel artists like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko, we also probably would not have gotten the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as we've come to adore them today. But hey, there's still hope for my headcanon. As Kevin Eastman revealed in a comicbook.com article that an official Marvel Turtles crossover is still on his, quote, bucket list. He shared the following sentiment. It happens, in my mind, a lot and often. It's been something that, in all sincerity, I believe will happen. But if not, I'll just do it for free and put it out. But the thing is, Daredevil as a character, long before Frank Miller, I grew up on the Bill Everett, Wally Wood, Bob Brown, Gene Colan. Daredevil was my guy. I really gravitated towards the more, I don't want to say grounded, but you had Daredevil, Captain America, and Batman. There were similarities of more human, accessible characters, but Daredevil was my favorite. But certainly when Frank Miller came in and issue number 158 blew us away, it was just epic. But I have a story and I have ideas, and one time, I would like that opportunity to do it. But in the meantime, we were lucky enough to cross over with Ghostbusters and Batman in the comic, and man, what a blast. So yeah, one day. That's definitely bucket list. And Mr. Eastman, sir, getting to see this crossover before I die is most definitely on my bucket list. Interestingly, at the time of this video, there are reports that Sony may be potentially taking over Paramount. I don't know what this could mean as far as the kind of creative influence Sony could have on Paramount's properties should such a merge take place. But should it, hopefully it won't be the Madam Web kind of influence. But, in lieu of getting an official TMNT Daredevil crossover, perhaps Sony's access to the Turtles and Spider-Man movie rights could maybe open the prospect of a Spider-Man Turtles crossover project. An animated feature, perhaps? I mean, it happened with Batman, so why not?
I've read rumors about a supernatural bat creature in Gotham, but I assumed it was an urban legend.
Ninja Turtles.
We came to Gotham to stop Shredder and the Foot Clan.
If the Turtles can tune their way into Gotham City, surely they can make their way into an animated version of a friendly neighborhood, if not Hell's Kitchen. Especially considering the recent quality of both Marvel and TMNT animated projects, it would be something real special. Hopefully, a Sony Paramount synergy can open a portal to such possibilities. The horizon for the two mainstream franchises has lots of surprises, I'm sure. An R-rated Last Ronin movie is in the works for the ever-adaptable Turtles franchise, and the MCU is merging its previously scattered properties into what will likely be the largest cinematic crossover in its upcoming Secret Wars event. But as much as I'm eager to see these ambitious projects in the wait, the only crossover that I want to see more than any other is one where I get to see the devil of Shell's Kitchen. But, no matter what happens, at least in my headcanon, somewhere in the sewers of the Marvel Universe, there will always be a bunch of pizza-loving Ninja Turtles.
I think you know the Four Devils have a reputation as well.
When we were forced to come to New York, I found myself, for the first time, without a home, wandering the sewers, scavenging for whatever I could find. And then